Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. This is a Prescott City Council voting session. Mayor Pro Tem, what do you have for announcements?
Thank you, Mayor. I have two things I'd like to speak about. First is, I've said this a couple of times now, but our Commission on Wellbeing, we've created a survey, very simple, 16 questions. We ask that you please go on and complete this survey. It's questions about the 5 different areas that we talk about with regard to well-being. We have about almost 900 surveys done. We'd like to get a few more hundred. We're going to go through the end of October. So it will take a second. Go to the city website. You'll see the logo with the tree right in the center, and you click on it and take the survey for us. We'd really appreciate that very much. And I hope all of you council members have taken that survey. Right, Mr. Blair?
Well, I just want to say it's the mayor's commission on wellness, and then he gives me the commission on sewer.
There you go.
I'm a
What
little
can I
bit
say?
taken back by that.
And also, and some of you might know that I am on the governor's commission for census and on his complete count committee. And we're coming down to the end of the census at the end of September. Right now, the state of Arizona is like number 44 in the state. We've picked up a little bit this last week. We're at 92% if you combine the self-response with the enumerated response, and those are people that go and they knock on doors of those that have not yet self-responded. You might think that's pretty good, 92%, but I will tell you, Idaho's at 99.9%. We really need to pick this up over the next about a week and a half. Every point that we don't complete in the census, we lose $62 million. So if you do the math on that, we're 8 points down. That's $496 million that the state of Arizona will lose if we do not get this number up a little bit more. And the census lasts for 10 years. That is $4.9 billion that the state will lose. So it's really important that we have everybody complete the census. Please do that. It takes just a few minutes. You don't have to answer all those questions. Just tell them how many people live in the house. That's what they need to know. So please do that. It also gives us our representation. We have a very good chance to get 2 more congressional seats. And if we can do that in Arizona, we need to do that. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, we're going to have an invocation by Father Raj with Sacred Heart Catholic Church and Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said, "Again I say to you, that if 2 of you agree on earth about anything that they may ask, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven." Let us pray. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city, Prescott. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and prudence. Give us the spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. And God, our merciful Father, renew us with the strength of your presence. And may we always work and serve our community to glorify your holy name. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father Raj. Let's please call roll.
Mayor Mangarelli?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Orr?
Here.
Councilman Blair?
Yes.
Councilman Good?
Here.
Councilmember Roosing?
Here.
Councilwoman Scholl? Here. And Councilman Sischka?
Here.
All are present.
All right, thank you. Let's do proclamations.
140th anniversary of the First Congressional Church of Prescott. Congregational, sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody, and I think Pastor Jay, come on up. You can bring everybody up here you like. Just as long as you're not singing. Great to see everybody. Okay, this is a proclamation, 140th anniversary, 140th year, I should say, of the First Congregational Church of Prescott. Whereas the First Congregational Church of Prescott, Arizona, the oldest congregational church in Arizona, was founded September 26, 1880, and has always been grounded in community affairs. Whereas 13 charter members established a continuing interest and involvement in educational matters. And whereas the congregation taught English to the Chinese railroad workers of Prescott, which I did not know, in 1900. And whereas the congressional members of the church, the pastor promoted and helped to establish Prescott College. And whereas recognition, promotion, support marginalized citizens in Prescott, and the mission of the church has always been a focus of the congregation. Whereas members of the congregation have been and continue to be active in supporting Prescott's community cupboard and food bank. And whereas First Congregational Church of Prescott remembers its past, alive in the present, and looks forward to opportunities for faithful service to the community of Prescott, Arizona. Now, therefore, I, Greg Mangarelli, Mayor of the City of Prescott, does hereby recognize September 26, 2020, the 140th anniversary of the First Congregational Church of Prescott. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. Just like to introduce those who came with me. We have our moderator, Ralph Wagner, and former moderator, Patty Lantrip. And we have Jay Eby, who just told me he arrived 45 years ago in Prescott, and the main topic was parking.
That's funny.
And Alice Kring, who goes way back in Prescott history and has been a member of the church for a long time. Just like to thank the city, the mayor. It's been a good working relationship through the years. You've helped us, and hopefully we are helping the community as well. And always think of our building and school and several other buildings as kind of beacons in the community. They remind us of our history, and they go way back. And thank you for redoing the street. You know, it looks good.
It does look.
It was expensive.
That's all. You know, none of the other stuff, but it looks good. And thank you for doing it.
And thank you again for being here. And I want to thank Sarah. We have now redone our proclamations, and I don't know that anybody's seen them. Instead of that god-awful blue, excuse my word of God, but we have now a beautiful thing for you to take to your church. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thanks for being here today. Let's go on to presentations.
Presentation from MAD regarding services in the community. The representative from MAD is actually on the Zoom call, so I am going to unshare our screen and allow Mr. Simon Hill to share his screen, and I'm also going to unmute him.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good. Ruby.
Good. Well, my name is Simon Hill. As Sarah introduced me, I am one of the program specialists with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And I want to thank all of you today for allowing me this opportunity to present to you different services that MAD is able to offer within the community. Now, when we're speaking about MAD, I just want to go into a bit of an overview. So our name is Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and we were founded in 1980. We are the nation's largest nonprofit working on the topic and issue of drunk and impaired driving, as well as underage drinking. We are very clear that we are not against the choice, we are very clear that we are against the choice and action of drinking and driving, not the individuals themselves. And we are not against adults over the age of 21 over drinking alcohol. Now, our program's broken up into a few different departments, and essentially we're focused on prevention, education, or victim services. So our commitment to the community is that we believe education can motivate empowerment and better decision making. So we take a three-pronged approach to that. which we hope that would prompt communication, understanding, and positive choice making to have a vision of no more victims. Our first program that we offer is our Victim Impact Panel. This is a critical piece to the restorative justice facet of the judicial process. It's a 2-hour educational class that speaks about the dangers of impaired driving. Typically, we see offenders take this course, or any community member is more than welcome to attend it. We are hosting one in Chapel Rock on November 17th from 5:30 to 7:30. It's our first in-person panel since COVID-19 hit our community. So we are incredibly grateful and excited for that opportunity. And then we also do offer an online victim impact panel that offenders may take. In addition to that, we have what's called our Power of Youth program. So it's empirically designed youth curriculum to be taught about the dangers of underage drinking. The program itself can be taught as young as 9 and can go up through college years. On the flip side of things, we have what's called our Power of Parents program. So this is geared towards any parent, caregiver, or really any adult role model in teaching and how to have those meaningful and delicate conversations about underage drinking. We fully believe that healthy communication channels allow for youth to feel safe and supported. Now, on the flip side of things, we have what's called our victim services. So in the short time of me hosting this presentation, 2 people would have been injured in a drunk driving crash. Every 51 minutes, someone's killed, and 4,300 youth die yearly related to underage drinking. Our victim services are for free for whomever self-identifies as a victim or a survivor of a DUI-related crash or underage drinking. We have 2 offices, one located in the city of Phoenix, one located in the city of Tucson, but we will travel to whomever needs our services. Resources include things such as referrals, peer support, court accompaniment, education, candlelight vigils. We also have a lot of volunteer opportunities as well too with this. We are hosting a virtual 5K that will be held on Halloween this year. And everything in regards to the 5K is what uses to fund our victim services. I'm not sure if any of you recognize this image, but this crash happened up in Prescott on November 27th of 2019, so just shortly after the holiday time. We speak about this because it's 100% preventable. We hope that through the education and outreach that we do within the community, whether it be our Power of Youth, our VIPs, our Power of Parent programs, that we hope we can educate and empower individuals to make different decisions so we don't see crashes like this happen. No, we fully believe that we can have a world of no more victims. It's fully attainable. So again, through the education opportunities that we do, we hope that technology changes within that we can have a world of no more victims. And we are very big advocates and preparing and planning ahead. So we speak about Lyft, Uber, public transit, walking, anything that avoids the person who's intoxicated or impaired getting behind a form of transportation. Matt, again, we have been around since 1980. And again, we are the nation's largest nonprofit working on this issue. The purpose of why I'm speaking with all of you today is that we would like to receive a statement of support from the Prescott City Council with the work that we do. I have my information listed there. So if any of you do have any further questions or concerns, I would love to speak with you further. And again, I want to thank you today for allowing me to speak with all of you.
Well, thank you, Simon. Appreciate the presentation and appreciate what you do in this space of drunk driving and taking care of these victims. Very, very important. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to item 8, consent agenda. Is there anything that any member would like to pull from the consent agenda?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And then click share again. Thank you, Gwen.
Any member want to pull anything from consent?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to pull 8C.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to.
Well, hang on just a second. Let's see if there's anything else anybody would like to, anything else pulled from the consent agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion on the remainder.
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items 8A and 8B.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Please vote. We're voting on consent agenda. Councilwoman Scholl?
Passes 7-0.
Okay. Councilmember Rusine, item 8C.
Thank you. This is involving a water allocation. And first of all, I think in this day and age with our water policy, and since water is such a huge issue, I'd just like to comment that maybe going forward, we don't put these things on our consent agenda. And because I would like to ask a few questions as far as concerning the map. It's kind of hard to tell, but this looks like something that's going to go up at the mall in one of the pads in the parking lot behind Dillard's. And it's going to be townhouses. Is that correct?
So Gwen Rowich with Public Works, Councilmember Rusing. That is correct. The two pads are located off of Gateway Boulevard, directly west of the Dillard's shopping stores. However, the request is for water, and the applicant will be bringing a plat for this project forward through Planning and Zoning Commission and then ultimately to council, which will most likely answer a lot of the questions you have related to the scope of the development. At this time, they're asking for no more than 25 dwelling units that the city, we don't actually under the new policy allocate water anymore. We estimate the potential water use, and then we take that through council for approval, and then we put that estimated use into the water resource management model, we call it the WORM. And then we monitor how much water is actually used at the site. And then after 5 years, we lock down what the use for that particular site is based on the actual use at the site. So we no longer enter into water service agreements, and we no longer allocate water as you've indicated. So the request before you today is, it's their intention to build 25 dwelling units. We've estimated the water use to be 4.25 acre feet for those 25 dwelling units based on information that comes out of the water resource management model now with similar type uses. So we've estimated their potential future use.
Okay, well, thank you for that clarification. I like to have a lot more information before I start talking water. One of my other concerns is the 4.25 acre feet of water for 25 lots comes out to about 6 houses per acre foot. And if I remember, under our old water model, we allocated like 3 to 5 homes per acre foot. And then we have the new data from Woodward and Dishlip. And it was increased, to maybe 7, 8, 9 units per acre foot. So I was going to ask, why aren't we just allocating 3 acres per acre foot, which would be more like 8 units?
So we look at similar uses, and the density for this project is approximately 1 dwelling unit per about 5,000 square feet of land, which is very similar to uses in Saddlewood and the Westwood area. And those parcels currently use 0.17 acre foot per dwelling unit. And so that's where the 4.25 comes from, is 25 dwelling units multiplied by 0.17 acre feet. And so that's where we're estimating it to be a similar type of use.
Are there any plans for a swimming pool?
That would come forward as part of the platting process, so I can't answer that question for you right now.
Okay, thanks, Gwen.
Sure.
Let's see, Councilman Good.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I had an opportunity to look at the proposal from the developers originally when they brought it forward to the pre-application conference. So I think this is a wonderful project to be able to bring in more units within the city without extending any of our services that are already being provided. And I think it would actually support our mall future by providing some quite a number of local residents who would want to be able to patronize both restaurants and even some of the brick and mortar retailers that are trying to continue operations there. So I think this is a way of kind of, in a way, almost repurposing a very large mall property to create some more future viability. So we'll see the Planning and Zoning Commission look at that in particular, but I think this is a good way of bringing more units into the city proper as it is, and I think it's great. So I support it.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Councilman Good. I think it's important to think about this location. It's actually closer to Best Buy than it is to Dillard's. So it's on the same side of the road if people are questioning whether or not it's going to be over toward the, do you have the mall, Gwen, that we can put that up for the public? I mean, the mall, the map?
I
So
have 'em.
to show
I
the,
have a map, yeah. Let's see. let me
it's on
see.
the same side. And it's actually, I was out there this morning, and it's going to be a nice,
You know which one it is, Craig?
it's on the same side of the road as Best Buy, across from Gateway, isn't it? No. I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong on
So
that.
here's the map. Let me make it a little bigger, sorry. Oop.
Well, I am, then I was mistaken.
It is on the east side of Gateway Boulevard. Let me see if I can pull it up here just a little bit.
Wow, it's right next to.
So it's you are correct. It's between Best Buy and Gateway Boulevard, or Dillard's, but it is on the east side of Gateway Boulevard.
It's right on
closer
the
to
edge of the
Dillard's.
hill. It's going to be overlooking
It's
the hill.
high. It's up high, yes, on the edge of the hill.
Yeah.
You like turn and then you turn left off of Gateway, then you turn left again, and
Yep.
room stores over here.
Oh, I
Come into
thought
the
it was
interior loop.
over
That's
by Best
correct.
Buy. Okay.
There's two paths on the little street
Got it.
between Gateway and
Okay.
the parking lot.
Right. This would be Dillard's right here, I believe.
And Best Buy's
Satellite picture would be helpful.
there. That's
There we go. Okay, all right.
Other questions, comments from the council? Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda item C.
Second.
Motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right, let's move on to item 9A, please.
Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license application from Jimmy Lena Co., applicant for Coco Grill, location 1297 East Gurley Street. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
Applicant present? Would you like to say a few things about your new restaurant? If you can come to the podium real quick, if you don't mind. I think I understand you remodeled, go ahead, remodeled a building. You can move that microphone if you don't, yeah, just swing it around there. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your business.
Hi, my name is Chimi. I had 3 sushi restaurants in Phoenix, and I had 3 different licenses, 3 different cities, Peoria, Phoenix, and Litchfield Park. And now we are up here in Prescott. Nice. We love it, and we fall in love, but I'm just too young to retire. So I tried to bring some sushi and some teriyaki bowls.
Nice.
As you know where it is, it's old Pizza Hut building.
Yes.
And we're getting a permit and then bring some different food.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming to Prescott and for your investment in the city and for opening a business. We look forward to some really good food over there. Thank you.
So much, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
I move to approve for liquor license application number 115337 for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Coco Grill, location 1297 East Gurley Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Do you have another one of these?
We do. Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license application from Joanne Elizabeth Cole, applicant for Pub Prescott, location 239 Marina Street. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
All right. And is the applicant here? Would you like to talk a little bit about your establishment?
So most of you have noticed on the corner of Sheldon and Marina some paint going up on the buildings. Well, that's us. We're so excited to be in the old Bin 239 spot. My husband and I own a restaurant in Prescott Valley called Lonesome Valley Brewing. We're doing a departure from the theme here in Prescott. We do, however, still want to feature locally crafted beers, spirits, wines, and ciders. We genuinely hope to have the best fish and chips you'll ever have, shepherd's pie, bangers and mash, and more traditional pub fare. We're just excited to get started and to be a part of the Prescott community.
Well, thank you. That sounds wonderful. It's a great location. It's good to have another restaurant back in there because the previous one was very successful, and we wish the best for you guys as well. So thanks for your investment in Prescott.
Thank you very much.
I know Mr. Palladini is very excited about a pub in town, so sorry. Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Mayor, I move to approve recommendation for liquor license application number 116872 for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Pub Prescott located at 239 Marina Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right. Thank you. Let's go on to item 10A, please.
Approval of city contract number 2021-034 with Empire Cat for the purchase of one 2020 Caterpillar 930M loader.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. This is one of those fun items. Big yellow equipment. But that big yellow equipment makes the difference every day in us being able to do our job at the transfer station. So the Solid Waste Division of Public Works, working in conjunction with Fleet Services, is requesting the authorization for the purchase of this 2020 Caterpillar loader, utilizing the City of Tucson Cooperative Purchasing Agreement in the total amount $250,785.66. So Solid Waste Division currently operates two wheel loaders to move and handle the waste materials generated at the transfer station. We load brush, slash into the brush grinder, and load wood chips into the transfer trailers on a daily basis to a tune of, on average, 252 tons of trash is brought in there, as well as 359 private customers that come in through that facility. So being that we utilize these two loaders doing all the jobs around the area there, needless to say, with that amount of demand, when one goes down, we're in deep garbage in a hurry. Glad we're not talking about wastewater. So this type of equipment requires regular maintenance to ensure reliability and maximum useful life. So as it ages, components suffer failures, increasing our cost, as well as reducing the liability. So the proposal on this is that we trade in the old unit. We take the primary unit that is used every day on the floor, utilize it as the secondary unit, and this one then will be the primary, to assure that we have the equipment when it's needed there. The equipment was reviewed by the Fleet Asset Review Board, and we have funding within the Solid Waste Fund in FY21. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thanks, Craig. Comments, questions from the council? Any public comment?
No, Mayor.
Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve city contract number 2021-034.
Second.
Motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right. Let's move on to item 10B, please.
Approval of city contract number 2021-031 to Britt Pipeline LLC for the Equestrian Way Water Main Replacement Project.
Mayor, Council, Craig Dosseth, Public Works again. So this item is to award the city contract for construction of the Equestrian Way Water Main Replacement Project, which includes approximately 1,500 lineal feet of water main and asphalt surface replacement on Equestrian Way and Equestrian Circle south of Lee, Lesay Drive. So this, come on, oh, no. we'll leave it that big. So this is Equestrian Way, this is Equestrian Circle, and then we have Lisset Drive on both ends of it. So Equestrian Way is part of a developer-built subdivision that was constructed in 1986 using PVC water main. On July 11th, 2020, a significant water main failure occurred within the roadway. The failure resulted in water outages, significant water loss, and extensive damage to the asphalt surface. So as we looked at the asphalt surface, the asphalt was damaged from where the water main would break, was right in this vicinity, and we had damage all the way down and around the corner as well as in the intersection. So when we looked at that and consider the amount of pavement replacement that was needed in there, as well as there has been a couple water main breaks in there. We had 2 or 3 similar to this. So with that in mind, we initiated an emergency design contract to design the water replacement as well as the pavement replacement. So that design was completed in record-setting time. There was a number of staff members that had the majority of their time delegated just to that to assure that we could get it done. And then our timing on this whole thing has been to get it done quick enough that we can get pavement back in there on that street before we get our real tough winter season. So the timing on this is to complete it by the end of November. Actually, December 4th is what's on the schedule. So once the design was completed, we put it out to bid. With that, our bid requests have been receiving significant response from contractors and contractors outside of the area. So this project received 6 bids, responses. The apparent low bidder was a brand new contractor to us. We had not heard of, did not know of this contractor prior to this. So in our research and reference checks and such on them, we found out as a company, they're relatively new. They were formed in May, June of this year. As far as individuals, the principals of the company, the principals came from larger, well-known companies within the valley, as well as when we performed a pre-award meeting with them, the majority of their pipe crew has also come from larger pipeline companies. So as a company name, they're new. The individuals doing the work, they have been doing it for a significant amount of time. They had one reference that they were able to provide us for an ADOT project that as Brit Pipeline that they performed, and we got very good reference check from ADOT on that. Then they also provided projects that they had worked with the previous companies as far as reference and information to pipeline. They are emphasizing pipeline work, on pipeline work as a company, and then they have subcontractors that, in fact, a local subcontractor that we're very well aware of in regards to doing quality pavement work. So they have a local sub for the pavement while they're concentrating on the pipeline side of it. Our replacement of the PVC, as with any city project that we're paying for and building, will be via ductile iron pipe, is what will be installed in there with that. And from that, staff is recommending award to the low bidder of Brit Pipeline, and be happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Blair.
I appreciate a new company, but I have some concern about the fact that they're from out of town, and when you start talking about having any kind of significant problems or warranty work, how confident are you that we can get somebody like that to respond? I mean, you know, they're only in business for 3 months, 4 months. They have the bonding capacity and everything behind them?
Yes, they do.
It's significantly lower than the engineer's estimate by what, 300,000?
Yes, and our engineer's estimate was definitely high in regards to we put such a short time frame on the project. I believe our engineer's estimate was inflated. As you can see, we've got 6 bidders,
Right.
so we've got significant competition on it.
I guess that was my concern is there's 3 of them right there on the road that aren't very far apart. And, 14% is the next, asphalt paving and supply here in town. I just find it interesting that somebody can come out of the valley and do it that cheap. But as long as you're comfortable with it,
And
I would like to keep the jobs and the money here locally instead of going out, but I know we have laws, right?
Have laws.
Darn.
And we have lawyers.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people that break the laws just because they can.
Good,
That's all
good,
we do.
good comments, Councilman. And one thing I neglected to mention, we did a award meeting with them. Staff had an agenda, questions, and as we started going down through the questions, their response, their presentation to us on how they looked at the job, what they were going to use to do the job with, things that they had included into it, they were answering our questions before we ever asked them.
Okay.
And to the point, they are bringing things in on this job that we haven't had any of our locals do. They had the wherewithal to know that we have to cross all the sewer services for this one side of the street because the main's on the other. So they have it included in their proposal that they're going to bring ProPipe in that will camera the existing main line and lateral launch the services to give them positive location marks for each one of those services, so then they don't have to waste time looking for them. When they get there, it's already marked, and then it can be that much faster for them to cross those.
Okay, I mean, you're the guy, as long as you're happy with it. I just had concern that they were that new of a group and about their warranty and those types of things.
Councilman Good.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Craig. I think this is another example of being able to encourage good competition. Clearly, you've got a new organization here that wants to earn the business. And with those kinds of numbers, I share Councilman Blair's concerns, but I also understand that when you're trying to build a business, sometimes you need to take that expertise that you have, more efficiency, and I think it's well worth being able to encourage and award a contract of this size to a new group, as long as you have the confidence that they're going to be able to do the work well, it's properly inspected, and we'll get the final product probably at a quality standard with a lower cost. And I'm really happy to hear that we're going to be replacing this failing PVC main line with ductile iron. And I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but it is an equestrian way. So let's make sure we keep that ductile iron as the standard for water mains. So we've just had way too many failures of PVC and the subsequent damage not only to our streets but also to the homeowners that live on those streets and have to use that as a primary access or an exit road. I know it goes right down there by Arco and Costco, et cetera. So let's and then, of course, the paving, getting that properly done too, and having a subcontractor who understands our expectations and requirements. I'm looking forward to seeing how well this finishes up. So, anyway, thank you.
Councilmember Russing.
Thank you. I personally went out and looked at the damage after this happened, and it was very impressive. And I just wanted to say that the cost to the city would have been a lot more if houses had been flooded. And it was a miracle that no houses were flooded, because at the time that the road was built by the developer, there was a small curb all along the road, and it helped keep the water from going down the driveways into people's homes. I'd like to thank Craig and his team for their responsiveness, because the crew was out there right away taking care of it and making sure that the road was put back to where it was drivable. And I just wanted to say that our public works crews are on call and available, and they're out there working 24/7 in case of an emergency, 7 days a week, that it's not just a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job. But going forward, I know this pipe was 34 years old, but it was PVC, and I think I'd just like to stress that in future developments, we look seriously at installing ductile iron in all the residential developments, requiring them, so that we don't have this conversation until maybe 90 years after the pipe's been installed instead of 30. Thank you.
Public comment?
Tom Rusing.
You're good? Okay. Entertain a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve city contract number 2021-031.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right, let's move on to item 10C for this item before you announce it, Sarah. I will duck out on this one. I have a conflict of interest because my wife is the listing agent.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. So we'll move on to item C. Craig?
Approval of construction cost reimbursement to Dr. Hojat Askari in an amount not to exceed $533,202.67 for water main and signal improvements per the Whispering Rock pre-annexation development agreement.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem. Craig Dotseth, Public Works. Per the terms of the Whispering Rock pre-annexation and development agreement, city contract number 2019-101, this item will set in place the ability for staff to process reimbursement per the contractual obligations of the DA and reimburse Dr. Askari for infrastructure improvements. The improvements included the construction of 790 lineal feet of off-site water main upsizing from the transmission main in Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University toward Willow Creek Road in an amount of $333,202.67, as well as the installation of a traffic signal on Willow Creek Road and Haas Boulevard in the amount not to exceed $200,000. The city and the owner entered into the agreement on September 11th, 2018 for the construction of on-site as well as off-site improvements to meet the water demands of the project. The off-site improvements will benefit the project, but they also upgrade the water system in the entire Willow Creek corridor area there. The agreement resulted in the owner of the project constructing both the on-site and off-site water main improvements as part of the project. Upon completion of the improvements, the agreement requires the city to reimburse the owner for the cost of the construction of the water main in the vicinity as described. So when the DA was developed, it was anticipated that we would upsize the existing pipeline in this path right here. This is where the old 6-inch line was, and it kind of, I'm going to go bigger. Come on. It traversed this wide open area within Embry-Riddle. This is where the solar site used to be on Embry-Riddle's property for 20 years. It has since been removed at the end of its life. Ultimately, in discussions between the developer, Dr. Askari and his team, and Embry-Riddle, their wishes were to move it to a different route to unencumber this large parcel here with that water line traversing diagonal across there. So it was built on this path here, which equates to 1,140 feet versus the 790 feet. By the DA, we are still bound to the 790 feet. So ultimately, the developer, Dr. Askari, and his project here then ended up with additional cost because of that route there. The signal is going in at Haas Boulevard, right here, which is one of the main accesses to Embry-Riddle. along with Heritage Park Road, what currently has a signal on it. So the signal here will take care of Embry-Riddle, the church property, as well as a Whispering Rock development. So in another paragraph within the agreement, the development agreement, the owner was to build and the city to reimburse a portion of the cost for the signal improvements at that intersection, as I just showed you. The city is obligated to reimburse the owner for the signal-related improvements in an amount not to exceed $200,000. Now, I need to emphasize here that the water line has been constructed, it's online, it's feeding that area today. We did not get the final costs until that work was done for it. The $200,000 related to the signal is a flat rate by the development agreement. The signal is not complete today. We are not asking for approval to pay them the entire amount right now. We're looking for approval that when it is done, the city has inspected it, accepted it, it's operational, everything else, then we would release the reimbursement for that. It's a matter of just having them both on one discussion topic and not another agenda, another day for that. When it is a set value, just have to wait for the construction to be completed. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any comments from council?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rusing?
Thank you for the clarification. That's the first time I've seen that plat map, and it helps clear things up. I didn't realize that the water main wasn't going down Willow Creek. So you're telling me Willow Creek Road does not have a water main? Just, it's over there on Embry-Riddle property to serve this whole area?
There is a water main on Willow Creek also, and they built water mains within the development here. This path down here, they also improved that water line. But to the DA, that was specifically to this vicinity, this water supply, because it was only a 6-inch line, not able to supply the corridor or their project improvements. So that's what created the upsizing, upgrade to our existing system was needed.
I'm confused. So what are the red lines or the new water main?
This was the
upsized one.
proposed upsizing of the existing. It was built, so the replacement for this line was built up here and was upsized to 16-inch from the existing 6-inch that fed out to Willow Creek Road.
So the south red line was actually built?
The south red line was the old line.
Was the old one, so that went away?
It is now abandoned.
Okay, I'm sorry. So there is a water main going down Willow Creek Road for future use?
Yes, there is.
Okay, all righty, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I would like to say I was just out there. It really looks great. They're doing great work out there. Looks very good. So can I have a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve construction cost reimbursement to Dr. Hojat Askari in the amount not to exceed $533,202.67.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to item D. How are you?
Thank you.
Good. Sarah?
Somebody want to let the mayor know to come back in?
I'm sure he'll come.
Approval of comprehensive sign plan CSP 20-002 for Founding Fathers Collective located at 218 North Granite Street.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Tammy DeWitt, Community Planner at the City of Prescott. This is a comprehensive sign plan for the Founding Fathers Collective that's currently under construction, an existing building. So here's the imagery of the area to kind of show its location. Here's Granite Street and here's Willis Street. We have the new Hilton going in here. Then we have the crossing here over to the new the existing Sam Hill building that the Hilton will be refurbishing to an event center. Then we have the Granite Trail system, which will go back here through Granite Creek behind the building in question. The purpose of the sign plan is to allow for signage on the front and on the back of the building, and they'll have a little emblem on the front here to be visible from Willis. So this is a 7,576 square foot building that was originally built in 1954. Back in 1954, they would have been allowed to paint signage on the building any size with no restrictions. So what being proposed in front of you today is not out of character for the building and for when it was built. Here's looking from the corner of Granite Street and Willis. So this is the building right here in question, and right here will be an emblem showing the building to kind of identify it. And as you can see, it's not that visible. It's kind of off the beaten path, hence why they want to have more signage to try to get a little bit more visibility from Willis Street. Here's looking up from the street. Over here is the Granite Creek over here. This is their parking area, which is on a separate parcel. And the signage will be on the front of the building and on the back side here. So here's another view of the building. So on the Granite Street side, they're proposing 378 square feet of signage for the Founding Fathers sign, and then they'll have additional signage on the side here for the 6 different types of businesses in there. And then on the Creekview side, they're proposing 956 square feet of signage to take up the space on the building. That'll be visible from the Granite Creek Trail System when it's built through that area. So they could kind of try to market the people as they're coming through there what's in this building. Sorry for this is the renderings that were provided. So this is the little emblem on the side. That'll be visible from Willis Street. And then here's the front of the building with the different types of businesses on it from the front. And I didn't have the back. I'm missing a picture here. Oh, so per our sign code, they would be allowed a total of 258 square feet, 258.92. What they are asking for is 1,476.5 square feet. But due to the size of the building, the historical character of the building, and at the time that this would have been allowed, this would be painted, that staff doesn't see any issues with it or have any concerns with it. And it does not have to go through the Historic Preservation Commission due to it's not in a historic district. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did hear this on their September 10th Planning and Zoning and unanimously recommended approval of it. So that concludes my presentation. The applicant is here to answer any questions.
All right, Councilwoman Scholl.
There's no lighting on the signs, right? It's just painted on the building?
I'll have to defer that. If there is, it'd be downlit,
Okay.
which would be allowed to meet our dark sky requirements. But I'd leave that to the applicant to answer.
On both sides?
I'll defer to the applicant if it's lighted.
Grant, you want to? Councilman Good.
Yeah, on that large creekside signage with the barber, tap room, and coffee, is that just going to be painted, or is that actually a sign that's going to be attached to the building itself?
They're all painted.
Okay. And will that have downside lighting as well there?
Yes, sir. The lighting.
If you come up to the microphone, yes.
Below the print in that drawing up there, you can see some lighting right below it, and so that's where the existing lighting is currently at. That's the down lighting.
So you already have downside type lighting there, it's just going to be upgraded? After
Correct.
you paint it, the 3 words?
Yes, sir.
So I know that you're trying to at least let people who are utilizing the Granite Creek corridor, and with the upgraded plans for that, being able to let people that are walking or bike riding or whatever be able to see that there's a building with those amenities available, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. Grant, it's going to be a great project. I was happy to be there Friday night and see some of the early parts of it. 6 businesses in this one large spot. It's just going to be outstanding. So thank you for your investment.
You bet.
I'm thinking of a zip line for my business down
Yeah, I
there.
think that's a good idea.
We can make it happen.
It'll be a hard stop at the end, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Any
looking
other
at,
questions, comments from the council?
Well, I'm sure our original founding fathers also used barbers, tap rooms, and coffee, so.
Yeah,
that
I think
fits
Yeah,
in.
so brief history. City Tavern is where they wrote the Declaration of Independence, and Merchant Coffee was where they read it to the public for the first time, and they happen to be in the same building, so you are right. Zip lines were probably around there too.
Thanks, Grant. Any public comment?
No, Mayor.
All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve CSP 20-002, Comprehensive Sign Plan for Founding Fathers Collective.
Second.
Motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right, we're going to close it up with Woodrow Wilson today. Liberty has never come from government. Liberty has always come from the subjects of it. The history of liberty is a history of limitations of governmental power, not the increase of it. This meeting is adjourned.